When I tell people that I shoot many of my travel videos primarily with a cell phone, they're often really surprised that it doesn't come out of a bigger, beefier, or more expensive camera. Well, I've been shooting many of my videos primarily with Samsung Galaxy S phones, now with the S23 Ultra that I just got this week. And so I wanted to share with you some of the tips that I've learned over the years on how to get the best video quality out of these phones. And I'm gonna share with you some of the new features on the S23 Ultra to make your videos look even better. All right. Let's go. The first thing you're gonna wanna do to get the best video quality out of your Galaxy S23 Ultra is to change the video resolution. Over here in this menu on the left where it says FHD 30, that's the default. You'll probably wanna go ahead and crank that up to UHD 30, that's 4K, 30 frames per second. You can shoot faster, you can shoot in 60 frames per second. And also on the S23 Ultra, it now shoots 8K in 30 frames per second, which is the right frames per second. The S22 Ultra only shot in 24 frames per second, so that's a really great improvement on this phone. But 8K is often a little too hard for most people to edit, so I think the sweet spot is UHD 30. Now make sure you set that video resolution for both the rear cameras and the selfie camera, because they are independent resolution settings for the selfie camera and the front camera. So you're gonna have to go ahead and make that resolution setting twice. Tip number 2 is to use the right camera and zoom lens. On the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, there are 5 total cameras and zooms built into it. Now, looking at the camera this way, you can see there's the ultra wide camera that's often listed here as 0.6x. In pro video mode, it'll be listed as ultra wide. There's the 1x camera. This is also listed as the wide camera in pro video. The 1x camera is gonna have your best performance in low light conditions. 3x camera gives you more of a zoom, which you can still use handheld. And then 10x, this is a really big zoom, but as you can see, it's really kind of shaky in a handheld mode. If you're looking for the most stable footage, the 0.6x ultra wide will give you the most footage the most stable footage if you're holding the camera handheld, because it's got the widest field of view. People don't notice that you're shaking it all that much. There's also the selfie camera right here that you can look and see yourself, but I will say the resolution of the selfie camera and the clarity is not as good as on the rear facing 1x camera. And so if you want to shoot the best quality footage in low light settings, you're gonna wanna use the 1x camera on this side. How do you shoot that yourself? You shoot that yourself this way. You hold the camera backwards at arm's length, or you put it on a tripod. You don't look at the screen while you're shooting, you just look at the camera, and then when you're done, you check it and make sure you were in the right place. That's what I'm doing right here. This is handheld, looking at the camera. Actually, as I'm recording this on a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra backwards. So do I know that I'm shooting it correctly? No, but it's the highest quality lens and I want the highest quality video. Tip number 3, for the most stable footage, you'll want to turn on the special stabilized mode. You'll find it with this little hand right here with the 2 arrows. That turns on super steady mode. Super steady only works in the ultra wide 0.6x or 1x cameras, but when you turn that on, then it's really steady. You can like run with the camera and it doesn't even seem like it's shaking. I'm gonna turn this around again. You can see my run, how I'm bouncing up and down, but how this footage is actually quite solid and steady. Pretty neat. Though this only works in really good lighting, bright lighting conditions. In low light conditions, it looks kind of muddy and warbly and kind of weird. Now backing up again, if I turn off super steady and now I run towards it, you can see there's quite a bit more camera shake. Oh, but I do want to point out that the super steady mode lowers the resolution. So right now I've got it in 4K shooting normally, but when I change it to super steady, it changes to quad HD, which is not a 4K resolution. Still pretty good, and it's better than it was on the Galaxy S22, but you should know if you're shooting a whole 4K production, you're not gonna get that in super steady mode. Tip number 4, if you want the most stable footage, get yourself a gimbal to hold the S23 Ultra with. Don't hold it with your hand, hold it with a gimbal. The gimbal helps with motion side to side, around, and it keeps the camera steady. I really like the DJI OM4, this one right here. It's got pretty strong motors. I use this one for a lot of my walking tours. If I need one with a selfie stick, Then I like the DJI OM6, although the OM6, the motors on it aren't quite as strong as on the OM4, and so I end up having to really make sure my phone is balanced well so it doesn't flop over at the middle of my long recording sessions. Now, one of the other things I also really like about the selfie stick gimbal is not to hold it up here, but to hold it down here. This is really useful to get some low to the ground shots. I like it for watching my daughter go around. She's 3 years old, and so it's a lot cooler to watch her from low. And if you like to get like walking scenes of your shoes, you can do that from down here too. And so there's just a lot of really neat angles you can get when you've got this extension that's also stabilized as a gimbal. Now, another mode that I really like for doing stabilized video is called Hyperlapse mode. And the way you find Hyperlapse mode is on the phone, you go into More, and then there's all these different modes, and one of these says Hyperlapse right here. And when you turn on Hyperlapse, it's basically a time-lapse type mode, except it's great not just for being on a tripod, but it's great for walking, it's great for driving. It takes what you're shooting and it speeds it up a whole bunch and then uses the gyro data from the phone to make it nice and smooth. So I really like this to, you know, if I'm driving on Pacific Coast Highway and I want to show a quick driving scene, like 5 minutes of driving in 5 seconds, that's what Hyperlapse is really good for. Hyperlapse is another one that also doesn't work on the selfie camera, but it does work on the ultra wide, wide, and 3x cameras. Though for the smoothest footage, again, use the ultra wide camera. Just move your hand so your hand's not in the view like mine is right there. Now, there's a new mode in Hyperlapse for astral photography enthusiasts, and so this is tip number 6. If you're trying to get time lapses of the night sky, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go up here to the upper left that sets the speed of the hyperlapse, and often it's on like automatic, but what you're going to want to do if you're doing stars is you're going to want to go to this 300x, which is the good speed for tracking the movement of stars. There's also different modes in here that you can change it. 60x is a good speed for recording sunrises and sunsets. 15x is good for recording clouds, and so definitely play out with those different speeds of the hyperlapse. Okay, the next tip is if you're doing anything at all where you're recording audio from someone speaking on camera, then you're gonna wanna invest in a wireless microphone. Right now, I'm recording this on the S23 Ultra with the onboard microphones, but most of the time you've been listening to me through this microphone right here on my chest, and so now I'm gonna cut to the S22 Ultra, which is what I've been using to record this right here, and you can see on here I've got the DJI mic, and this has a receiver right here that plugs into the phone. You can see the audio levels. It plugs in by a USB-C connector right to the bottom, and that's what transmits the signal from what's here on my chest into the phone. This thing is phenomenal. You can buy it in sets of 1 or 2 transmitters, and it charges in a case. It comes with a windscreen. Really great. I've had other wireless microphones for my cell phones, but this one is the best. This video is not sponsored by DJI mic or Samsung or all these things, but these are just what I found to make cell phone video production really pretty amazing. So if you're using some sort of external mic, you're gonna wanna check to make sure your recording and the audio levels are good. And sure, you can do that by just playing back what you've recorded, but there's a better way. The way you do it is you go to More, and then in More, you find where it says Pro Video, and then in Pro Video, you can see right over here, you can see the audio signals left and right. And I've got the DJI mic actually configured in what they call safety mode, which means that one of my channels is a little bit lower than the other one, so I don't blow it out. And so that's why you see the right channel is a little bit lower than the left channel. What I also really like about the Pro mode is you can go and you can change the microphone. So if I want to change it to the onboard microphone, I can go and hit that button, and now it's picking up omnidirectional mic, or I can just pick up from the front mics on the camera, or I can just pick up from the rear mics. I can go back my USB, which is the one here on my chest, or if I've got a Bluetooth device in it, I can have the microphone pick up from those too, which is pretty neat. And so actually, if you have the new Samsung Buds Pro 2, you can record 360-degree spatial audio on the videos too. That's a pretty neat feature, new for the S23 Ultra. Now there's a lot more that you can do in Pro mode than just look at the audio, and so that's the next tip, is to use Pro mode to really dial in your video settings. You can control the white balance, how you focus, the exposure values, you can control the shutter speed, and you can control the ISO. Also, what's pretty neat, you have to stop recording to do this. You can change the quality of the video in Pro mode. In advanced video options, you can set high bitrate videos, which will record even better looking videos. Now, these better looking videos are gonna take up more space, but if you want the highest quality, you'll find it in Pro mode when you turn on that high bit rate. The one thing I also don't like about the Pro mode is, in addition to not being able to change the microphones while you're recording, you also can't change the cameras or lenses while you're recording. But one nice thing in the S23 Ultra that wasn't the case in the S22 Ultra is that you can change to the selfie camera finally, so you can record yourself and you can record the world in the Pro mode. So that's pretty cool. Now, what I also like about the Pro mode in the S23 Ultra is the videos out of this are much more stable. I found myself not using Pro mode all that often in my S22 Ultra because the stabilization wasn't as good as in the regular mode. And so I had to have my camera on a tripod all the time to use Pro mode, but now you can do it handheld pretty good with all of the cameras, including the vanity selfie one. Look at me right there. Pretty handsome dude, right? Tip number 10. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know it, one of the ways you can start recording is by putting your palms up and it'll start recording. But so here on tip number 10 is, if you like the DSLR look and you like it kind of blurry in the background with a fancy lens, you can do that with the S23 Ultra, but it's in a different video mode. You go to More, and then in More, you will find this portrait video mode. And in portrait video mode, you actually see it detects you as the person there, and then it blurs out the background. It makes it look just like a DSLR look. And it has this thing ready up here, which means it detects you or the person in the frame, and so it's gonna blur it out. And you can see if I move off, then it's kind of not blurred up all that much, or if I were to move too far away, then it doesn't detect me, but maybe I'm still close enough and so it remembers me. You can also change the blur strength. You can make it more blurry so the background gets more blurry. You can also do things where you make the background glitchy. You can like take out the color so that like everything looks like it's in black and white except for me. I think this is a pretty neat way to do videos, right? Especially on Yellow Productions, where I look like I'm in a old-timey movie. There's another neat feature you might want to enable, but I have to go around to the other side because it only works on the rear-facing cameras and it's tracking autofocus. I've got it on so that it can keep me in focus, but if you keep this one on, then when you are recording, the phone will try really hard to keep the subject in focus even if they move, so it doesn't struggle and I'm in focus wherever I am. This is really good, particularly if you're using these rear-facing cameras and you can't see the screen. Turn that one on. I also really like the new record when motion detected mode in super slow-mo. The way this works, you can place that box on the screen anywhere you want to, and then when it detects motion, it automatically starts to record. So that's what the super slow motion run of Chris looks like. I'm sure it's a wonderful sight. And tip number 13 is to use director's view to record both the front and back cameras at the same time. This one has been in a couple previous iterations of this phone, and you can change what camera you want to record with. You can change what like picture in picture you want, but what's really neat in the S23 Ultra, you can click this button, not to save videos previewed, which I've said to, but you can click it to save the front and the rear as separate 16:9 videos. And so now if I'm like moving around and maybe I'm doing something where I want to talk to you about this pier that I'm walking on, well, I can record it not as picture in picture like I see on my screen, but I can actually record these as two different video files so that in my editor I can decide whether I want you to see my head or whether I want you to see the pier in front of me. And the stabilization on this is a lot better too. I never used this feature before because frankly the stabilization was garbage on the previous Galaxy phones, but now I'm not using this on a gimbal, I'm hand holding this and I think it looks pretty good. And finally, I just want to share some pro tips about how to hold and think about the cell phone as your camera. And this applies not just to the S23 Ultra, but any cell phone that you're shooting with. And so actually I have my S22 Ultra in my hand because I have to shoot with the S23 Ultra to get the 4K portrait video that you're seeing right now. So my first tip for you holding the camera, use two hands. Use two hands because it's going to be the most stable. And the amateur hour for video is to do pans like this. You don't want to do pans, they don't look good. They look like 1980s camcorder type video. The way you want to move the camera, you want to move in and you want to move out. And by the way, as you notice as I move, it's not just my hands or my arms moving in or out, but actually my whole body moving forward and my whole body moving back, because that'll make it much more stable. The other one is think about dolly shots where you go left to right. And these are particularly neat if you reveal something. And my final camera motion tip for you is to get your camera away from eye level and get it down low. Get it low to the ground. You'll get some really unique shots down here than when you do if you hold the camera all the way up here. Now, by the way, if you want to see more of the equipment that I use, not just when I'm out and about on my cell phone, but my equipment for my home studio, where that's where I've got all my fancy gear, lights, microphones, you can check out this video right here. Well, as usual, fellow explorers, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you right over there.